Hi there, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into an idea that might just completely change the way you see and feel in your own home. And no, we're not talking about all the things you own. We're talking about the space between them, the quiet, the pause, that visual breathing room.
So let's start with a feeling I bet we all know. You walk into a room, maybe it's your own living room, and it's perfect. It's been carefully decorated, everything's in its place, but instead of feeling calm and happy, you just feel this, I don't know, this low-key hum of overwhelm. What's up with that?
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. We've kind of been taught to find comfort by filling up our spaces, but we're going to explore this idea that true peace, well, it's found in what we decide to leave out.
And that leads us to our first big idea here, what we're calling the crowded calm. It's that strange, weird paradox of a room that has all the right stuff, but just feels wrong. It leaves you feeling drained instead of, restored. See, for decades, we've been operating under this myth that a warm, beautiful, intentional home has to be a full one. We've somehow come to believe that more is better. More pillows, more books, more art on the walls. But what if that's the very thing that's been robbing us of our peace? So, what's the alternative? Well, that brings us right to our next idea. Space is an invitation. This is where we completely redefine what empty really means and start to see it as this powerful, positive thing in our homes. Okay, first, just a quick definition so we're all on the same page. When we say negative space, all we're talking about is any area that isn't taken up by a main object. It's the patch of wall around a painting, the clear part of a shelf, the floor you can see beside a chair. It's simply and powerfully breathing room.
And this right here, this is the crucial mental shift. We're moving away from that old myth that fullness equals warmth and that emptiness is just neglect. The reframe is that space is actually an invitation for our eyes to rest and for quiet to finally settle in.
A really great way to think about this is to think about music. The notes are beautiful, of course they are, but without the pauses, without the silence between them, there's no rhythm, no melody, just noise. Our rooms work the exact same way. And get this isn't just about personal taste or some high-minded design philosophy. There is actual science behind why our brains crave this space. Which brings us to the science of soothing, a quick look at how negative space has a real, measurable calming effect on your nervous system. So why does a cluttered room feel so draining? Well, it's literally work for your brain. With every single glance, your eyes are scanning and your brain is having to register and categorize every single object in its path. This creates this constant low-level hum of mental work that just leads to visual fatigue and total overstimulation. Negative space is the perfect antidote. Environmental psychologists actually have a term for it: attention restoration. It's like a walk in nature for your mind. A visually calm space, one with places for your eyes to rest, can literally replenish your ability to focus. It's a recharge for your brain.
So here's the crucial takeaway from all the science. This has a real physical impact on you. Studies have actually linked cluttered environments with elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol. That anxious feeling you get in a messy room, it's not just in your head. It's a real physiological response to all that visual chaos. All right, so we get the why. Now let's get into the how. In this next part, we're going to talk about creating breathing room. With some practical, super simple experiments, you can try to invite more of this calming space into your own home.
Here are two really easy things you can try. First, let your furniture float. I know it sounds weird, but instead of pushing your sofa right up against the wall, pull it forward, maybe just a foot. That tiny little gap creates an incredible sense of space. Second, try the art of the single object. Just clear one shelf and place one thing you absolutely love on it. Treat it like it's in an art gallery. A couple more ideas for you. Let your walls breathe. A single piece of art with a generous amount of blank wall around it feels way more special than a crowded gallery wall. And think about your lighting. Use warm lamps to create these soft pockets of light. The gentle shadows they make are just another form of negative space, and they add so much depth and calm. And here's a little secret from the world of warm minimalism. You can create a feeling of richness without adding more stuff. You just have to let texture do the talking. Think about a rough linen pillow, a smooth wooden bowl, a woven basket. The contrast between a few different textures actually feels warmer and way more interesting than it does in similar objects. I love this. It's like a little cheat sheet for some of those common habits we all have. If you tend to over-accessorize, try rotating your favorite things with the seasons instead of having them all out at once. If you have a fear of blank walls, just try it. Live with one for a week and see how it feels. And if you have matching sets of furniture, break them up. A more curated mix just feels so much more alive. So let's bring all this home in our final section, the emotional payoff. Because really, this isn't just about how a room looks, it's about how it makes you feel. It's about how your space can shift from being a source of stress to being a place that truly holds and supports you. Just imagine coming home at the end of a long day. You walk in, and instead of being hit with 100 different things demanding your attention, your eye just finds a soft, quiet place to land. The room receives you. It doesn't ask you to tidy it or organize it or even notice it. It just lets you be.
And this is the ultimate connection. This is the whole point. When we create visual quiet in our external world, it helps create emotional quiet in our internal world. The calm you build in your home directly translates to the calm you feel in your own mind.
And this really sums it all up, doesn't it? This isn't about emptiness. It's about making room for what actually matters. Negative space is where you find clarity. It's where creativity has room to breathe. And it's where you can finally, truly just rest. And so I'll leave you with this question to kind of reflect on. If your home gave you back just that little bit of mental energy every single day, what could you do with that newfound emotional quiet? What would that make space for in your life?
So here's a super simple challenge, your experiment for this week. Just choose one surface, a side table, a windowsill, one single shelf on a bookcase. Clear everything off of it. Live with that clean slate for a few days and just see what happens. Notice how it feels. You might be absolutely amazed by how much peace was just waiting there for you all along.